Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to meet the news on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Sadia Yakubu. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365 and Star Times, channel 276. And now the news in details. The federal government has announced new measures to curb malpractices during the West African Examinations Council and the National Examinations Council examinations among the modalities announced by the Education Minister Tunji Lausa and Minister of State for Education Suwaiba Ahmed is the introduction of enhanced question, randomization and serialization mechanisms. The government said the measures are part of the ongoing reforms to strengthen credibility, transparency, and public confidence in the examination assessment system. Meanwhile, the Joint Examinations and Matriculation Board (JAM) has called on candidates intending to register for the 2026 Unified Tertiary Education Examination (UTME) and direct entry to create their profiles immediately. The board issued the update in its weekly bulletin, urging candidates to ensure the National Identification Number (NIN) details are accurate before creating their profiles ahead of the registration exercise. The board also warned that errors in NIN data could lead to avoidable challenges during the registration and subsequent examination processes. Former councillors who served under the administration of former Kano State Governor Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje have thrown their weight behind Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf's potential defection to the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) during a visit to the NNPP chairman in Kano. The group commended Governor Yusuf for his continued effort towards the political and infrastructural development of the state. Global Television's correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
The political atmosphere in Kano has been heating up in recent days as consultation intensified regarding Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf's possible move to the APC. This gathering is one of many receptions organized by party stakeholders showing growing support for the governor's potential defection.
I'm requesting the all leaders to move or defect from NNPP to APC because we feel this is the best, way to go about it, especially as the election is nearing, 2027 election is coming closer, and this is the best way that I think we feel that Kano State can actually be safer, be more secure, be more peaceful.
According to the State Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs, Ibrahim Waya, discussions have reached an advanced stage, and it is only a matter of time before Governor Yusuf announces his decision to the public.
We really want our two leaders to consider these humble requests for the people that they should actually defect from the NPP to APC because as far as the state is concerned, as far as the people in the state are concerned, this is exactly what they want.
Addressing rumor of a rift between Governor Yusuf and his political mentor, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, the commissioner stated that the relationship between the two remains strong and cordial.
The real situation is that the governor, Ali Abba Kabir Yusuf, and also the national leader of the NPP, Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, they are still very close. They still relate as father and as son, and nothing has in any way disrupted or rather hurt their own relationship. Their own relationship is still very intact. Nothing has actually happened.
Meanwhile, the former councillors have expressed their full support for Governor Yusuf, urging him to heed the calls of Kano people and formally join the APC in the interest of unity, continuity, and progress in the state. From Kano, Idris Jibrin, Global Television News.
At least 26 people drowned and 14 others are missing after a boat carrying farmers and fishermen capsized in northeastern Nigeria. The Executive Director of the State Emergency Management Agency in Yobe State, Muhammad Goje, stated that the incident happened when a makeshift passenger boat going from Jigawa State to Yobe State capsized. Here is a report by Zara Nasir.
Muhammad Goje noted that 13 other passengers were rescued, adding that search and rescue operations were still underway. Accidents are common on Nigeria's busy rivers, often caused by overloaded boats poor maintenance, or failure to comply with safety regulations. Sanusi Ahmed is a boat worker and shares his thoughts on the incident.
It has been about 2 or 3 years since we last experienced an accident on our waterways. From what we understand, the accident must have been as a result of overloading. However, we try our best to manage the load to avoid placing excessive demand on our boats.
Meanwhile, Yobe State Governor Memala Buni has condoled with the families of the deceased, describing the incident as a monumental loss. Several dozens die each year in various accidents along the Nigeria's waterways. Zahra Nasser reporting for Global TV.
The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Professor Nentawi Lwada, has condemned the terrorist attacks on communities in Agwara and Bargu local government areas of Niger State, which claimed the lives of more than 40 people and led to the abduction of several others, including women and children. A statement issued by the special advisor to the national chairman, APC Media and Communication Strategy, Abimbola Tuki, described the Saturday attacks as barbaric, inhumane and utterly unacceptable, stressing that they represent a direct assault on Nigerians' peace, unity and collective conscience. Rising political tensions on Monday as security presence was increased around the government house amid disagreement between the leader of the new Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, and Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf over planned defection. There have been strong indications that Governor Yusuf, a loyalist of Kwankwaso, is preparing to defect from the NNPP to the All Progressives Congress APC. Reports said the move earlier expected had been shifted to January 12 to allow the governor to hold wider consultations, especially with lawmakers in the state assembly. Stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, have outlined far-reaching conditions for reconciliation as consultations continue to resolve the party's lingering internal crisis. Key issues under discussions include the party structure, possibility of another convention, public apologies and other fundamental reforms seen as necessary to restore unity. Members of both the Tanimu Turaki and Abdurrahman Mohammed-led factions of the National Working Committee reportedly confirmed that talks are still at the early stage, noting that options being considered including convening a National Executive Committee meeting or holding another national convention to address the disputed leadership positions. An African Democratic Congress faction has formally inaugurated its zonal, state and appeal Congress committees nationwide, a move to amid a strengthening party structure and ensuring smooth conduct of congresses ahead of 2027 general elections. The inauguration was announced in Abuja by the factional national chairman Nafiu Gombe at a press conference. Nafiu said the committees were established to oversee the planning and execution of congresses at the local, state, local government and ward levels in strict compliance with the ADC Constitution and Electoral Acts. No fewer than 469 children died from malnutrition between January and July 2025 in Kano State, as the crisis of poor malnutrition continues to threaten child survival in the state. This was disclosed by Professor Rukaya Aliyu Yusuf of the Department of Information and Media Studies, Bayero University, Kano, while presenting a paper titled Understanding the Basics of Behavioral Challenge Towards Improving Malnutrition in Kano State at the Media Sensitization Training. Professor Yusuf said malnutrition and poor dietary practices remain major public health challenges in Kano, noting that Nigerians still rank poorly on the Global Nutrition Index. The Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria in Kaduna State have denied reports that it is planning a statewide strike, insisting that health services across the state will continue without disruptions. This is according to a statement issued by the union and addressed to the head of Kaduna State Civil Service. The union said the claims which have been circulating on social media are false, unverified, and capable of causing unnecessary public anxiety. The Nigerian Army has announced the commencement of the applications for the 29th-2026 Direct Short Service Commission (DSSC) for eligible Nigerians. According to a statement released on Tuesday by Army Headquarters via its official Facebook page, the DSSC is open to both civilians and serving military personnel seeking commission as officers in selected corps of the Nigerian Army. The available corps include Nigerian Army Engineers, Nigerian Army Signals, Nigerian Army Medical Corps, Nigerian Army Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, and the Nigerian Army Education Corps. You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When Midday News returns, global markets rise on AI optimism, oil prices steady, details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from that short break. And in business news, federal government has announced a shift from direct economic intervention to capital de-risking, a private sector-led growth model as part of the 2026 growth acceleration and investment mobilization strategy. The new direction was disclosed in a statement by the Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anyiti, who said the strategy is aimed at unlocking large-scale domestic and foreign private capital by lowering investment risk, removing policy distortion, and strengthening execution discipline across key sectors of the economy. According to Uzoka Anyiti, the government is seeking to move from macroeconomic stabilization to sustained economic expansion driven largely by private investment rather than public spending. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has reduced the pump price of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, at its retail outlet, lowering the prices to 815 naira per litre in Abuja. The revised price was implemented at the NNPC filling stations located at Lugbe, Wuse Zone 4 and 6 along the Kefi-Abuja Road, as well as the Kubwa Expressway. Despite the latest reductions, NNPC's pump price remains 79 naira higher than 739 per litre, currently sold at Dangote refinery-backed MRS filling stations nationwide. Markets rallied Tuesday, tracking the year's first record on Wall Street as investors racked up AI-linked tech bets, while oil prices steadied after weeks following the ouster of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Attention is also turning back to United States monetary policy and release of key data this week that could play a role in Federal Reserve interest rate decision-making ahead of its next meeting at the end of the month. Traders essentially ignored the noise of the uprising U.S. raid on Caracas on Saturday that saw Maduro and his wife spirited away to New York to face drug challenges. And on the foreign scene, the Trump administration has overhauled the United States pediatric vaccine schedule on 10 years of scientifically backed recommendations that reduce disease with routine shots. The dramatic shift announced by the U.S. Health Department, which is led by long-term vaccine skeptic Robert Kennedy Jr., means the country will no longer recommend that every child receive immunizations against several diseases, including rotavirus and influenza. The United Kingdom government has activated a counter-terror policy that allows it to seize mobile phones from illegal migrants without arresting them. The government said the new law would help it to gather intelligence on smuggling gangs, organizing small boat crossings to the UK. Border Security Minister Alex Norris said they promised to restore order and control to their borders, which means taking on the people smuggling networks behind the deadly trade. And in sports, Victor Osimhen scored twice as Nigeria made short work of Mozambique at the African Cup of Nations on Monday. cruising into the quarterfinals with a comprehensive 4-0 victory in the last 16 tie. Demola Lookman, a former winner of the African Football of the Year award, like Osimhen, opened the scoring after 20 minutes and then helped set up the other 3 goals on the night. The Nigerian Football Federation has welcomed the nationality switch of Wrexham goalkeeper Arthur Okonkwo, expressing optimism about adding the 24-year-old to its goalkeeping options. Born in London to Nigerian parents, Okonkwo is eligible to represent both England and Nigeria and featured for England at various youth levels. However, in December 2025, he completed a switch of allegiance to Nigeria, a move that has been warmly received by the NFF. And that's it on Media News. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, Channel 365 and StarTimes, Channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now, showing on your screen using our Global TV NG. I am Sadia Yakubu saying thank you for watching.